Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about how the Chicago Bulls won the Nikola Vucevic trade for Wendell Carter Jr. And really, look, if we got to go back, I want to hear your thoughts down below if you guys agree with me. Do you guys believe Nikola Vucevic won the deal, like the Chicago Bulls? I think really, I'm an Orlando Magic fan, and I think Wendell Carter Jr. has been great, but I think look at the Chicago Bulls. They're championship contenders. So let's talk about it. Let me hear your thoughts down below, like and subscribe. So obviously, shout out to Sir Charles in charge for this content. And it's because people thought there was no question when the Chicago Bulls traded for Nikola Vucevic, they were going to win now. And, last year they saw themselves 2 games out of the play-in tournament, and they had only one more year left with Zach Lavine under contract to send this team to the playoffs for the first time in 2017. And now, look, the Bulls were doing whatever it took to upgrade their roster. So they sent away Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks, the 2021 and the 2023, my apology, for Nikola Vucevic. And Nikola Vucevic is going to be here for, basically another season. And it's pretty dope because if you look at it alone, I think the Bulls won the trade because Otto Porter Jr. is playing a key role for the Golden State Warriors. And I know Franz Wagner ended up being the draft pick of the Chicago Bulls that the Magic took, and he's looking like a shoo-in for first-team All-Rookie. And he's already on some Rookie of the Year ballots, probably top 5 rookie. But if you look, there's a piece that people forget that, I think Nikola Vucevic is coming off his second All-Star appearance. He's averaging a double-double, almost 25 points per game and 12 rebounds, and shooting 40% from 3, and he's looking better defensively than he ever has. And I know Wendell Carter Jr. is having a breakout season, okay? And this guy was great, okay? He was a first-round pick, and they got a guy in Wendell Carter Jr., the Magic, that didn't look like the guy he was on the Bulls. On the Bulls, he showed a bit of promise, but he didn't project much past a solid backup NBA center. And now it looks like they got themselves on the Magic a great starting center for the future. But look, I think the thing is if you look, this is a deal that the Bulls won because, yes, Otto Porter is a productive player again, and so is Wendell Carter Jr., but both centers made sense for their respective teams when the trade happened and at the start of the season. And Vucevic was coming off an All-Star appearance, and with this sign and trade for DeMar DeRozan's, the Bulls were clearly trying to build a championship contender. Even people were forgetting about Lonzo Ball. He'll come back and be great. And Orlando, on the other hand, was entering year number 10 of a rebuild, despite having a couple playoff appearances in 2019, 2020. So I don't think anyone crossed their mind that Wendell Carter Jr. was a better player, but Nikola Vucevic more than doubled Carter's point production on a more efficient clip last season. And the way this season has gone, I think there's still it's obvious that Vucevic won. I know you can put up debate up there because you're like, oh, well, big fish in a small pond, because there was always the argument for Nikola Vucevic's high level of production in Orlando because he was on a bad team. But Carter's playing alongside 3 ball dominant guards and starts out of position with Mo Bamba logging starting center minutes. So it's interesting. And on top of that, I know Carter is averaging 29.4 minutes a night with a usage rate of 20%. But Vucevic exceeds both of those stats, averaging 33.9 minutes a night and a usage rate of 24.4%. And if we just look at their efficiency, Carter Jr. is shooting 50% from the field, 32% from 3, and 70% from the free throw line, while Vucevic is on another level, except, he is shooting 77% from the free throw. But look, he's putting up, 47 and 31 and 77. So it's crazy to think that it's crazy to think that they're doing this. And also, 41, not 31, my apology. He's shooting 40% from the three-point line. Vucevic's been awesome, okay? And I think if you just look at this, as I know Wendell Carter's arguably a better defensive player because he can switch on the perimeter, protect the rim, and exceeds whatever Vooch can do, which is simply dropping back on drop coverage and being in the paint as kind of like a deterrence. But if you look at the statistics and the production-wise, and if you even doing the eye test, I really think Nikola Vucevic is the better player. His footwork, his ability to create his own shot, even set up his own teammates and rebounding, and he's better. He's actually a decent guy to get steals. So I think if you look at it, Nikola Vucevic was a better fit for Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball than Wendell Carter Jr. would have ever been. And as a Magic fan, I've always fought for how underrated he was. A guy who has been able to like put himself in positions to hit threes and play well. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's been awesome, but I know
Your
that
attention, please. Answers library will close in 50.
basically the video, guys. I want to hear your thoughts if you guys agree with me. I just think, look, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach Lavine thrive putting pick and rolls, and I know they're much more ISO orientated players, or run and gun for Lonzo Ball, but the big who can dive or put out some pops, like some 3-pointers, is way more effective than, Wendell Carter, who prefers to sit in the post and wait for an entry pass. And also, I know, well, like, Wendell Carter doesn't always do that, and so does Vooch. Sometimes he waits for the post, but Vooch does stay in the post a lot, I'll admit that. But it's nice to have this guy. I really think, if you look at it, the Bulls currently sit almost at top of the East, and they're content with their starting center, and I am too. And I think they won this trade, even though Sir Charles in Charge was trying to say they didn't. But I really think Vooch is better. Like, Nikola Vucevic is just balling this year, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. You guys should, like 31%.